This is Transit Joe here. We are. I'm gonna. This video is. I don't know if you've seen some of my recent uploads. It's been I've been uploading some older videos that I had from the JGT Transportation Yard in Homestead, and a video of mostly their out of service buses. So I'm gonna give you a quick history of that company. It was started by a gentleman, which is now a friend of mine's, uh, Cuban American gentleman, Desiderio Gonzalez, was his wife Maria, and it was started. Well, he started in the industry in the '50s from Cuba, and he came to this country, and he's run or managed or owned a variety of bus companies or bus lines. And he, back in the '80s, early '80s, he had his own outfit called Dolphin Bus Line. He used to run by contract extra sections with Greyhound and sometimes Trailways. Just follow the Greyhound bus. Um, Mainly in Florida. He told me they rarely went out of Florida. And he eventually started running shuttles, charters. Um, he had another company that he started with the name All American, or All American Team, I think it was on record, but it was All American. I remember that they had MC8s, and they had five, at least he said five ex Broward County Transit Grumman 870s, and they were eventually sold off or scrapped. But then they involved the company. He started a business with a family member, and that company was named JGT Transportation. JGT stood for, I think it was Julia Garcia or Julia Gonzalez Transportation, and I think was his brother-in-law, and eventually the brother-in-law um, went on to different business, and he kept the company, just him and his wife, and it was they went on with the name JGT. They had a couple of buses under another certificate they had called Handy Van. I'm not Handy Van. I'm going to get to them later. Um, A1 Tours. They always had a couple of buses under that name, A1 Tours, and operate on that operating certificate. Even you'll see it on the videos. The buses says operated by JGT but owned by A1 Tours. And it's funny because where it put those signs up, they didn't put operated. It was operated. They left the very important letter out. But so back in the '90s, um, I'm not going to go into exact facts because I don't have it, but Miami-Dade County and Monroe County, and I think the Florida DOT, they started like a shuttle service to get employees to the Florida Keys, because the businesses down there needed employees from the mainland. It was very expensive to live there, so the employees wouldn't be able to find affordable housing there. So it's Handy Van, which was mostly a paratransit company, and they're still around, but they got taken over, I think, by somebody else. But Handy Van started that shuttle service with vans, and JGT started getting involved in it too. They eventually took it over from a handy van uh, when they needed larger buses. So he started that service with a few of the Grummans, mostly with the Grummans, and with I think an MC5 and a couple of MC8s that he had, and eventually that route expanded, becoming the Route 301 and the Route 302. The 301 traveling on US 1 into the Florida Keys, the overseas highway, all the way up to mile marker 50 in Marathon. Not all trips went there, but that's as far as they got, where they transfer where they can make a transfer to the Key West transit system. Um, Through the 90s, they operated it very well. They expanded several times. They went through a whole slew of buses, mostly MC8s, MC9s, a lot of ex New Jersey Transit MC9s that they got through. They bought from ABC Bus in Orlando. Some some buses up to from the Northeast, red and tan lines. I think was one of them. A couple of Coach USA buses, and also some more standard MC9s. When they forced the ADA, the buses to be ADA compliant, they uh, in house they put these wheelchair lifts that were extremely reliable. Little strange, but strange looking, but extremely reliable. And they became ADA compatible. In 2006, in December 2006, American Coach Lines, which are now defunct, American Coach Lines went to the county and proposed using brand new buses, MCI D4500s, and they they got the contract. They somehow low bid it. It was a disaster, but that's for another video. That'll come later. And JGT was only able to keep the Route 302, which is a one bus operation. At that time, it was 3 trips in the morning and 3 trips in the afternoon rush, 7 days a week. But at that time, then is when they scrapped quite a bit of buses. Interesting buses too. Um, all the MC9s, just about all the MC9s except one. The MC5s were sold off or scrapped. Of course, the Grumman were long gone by then. And they had just put in service some A3s and C3s. And those stayed, the A3s and C3s stayed for a while. They were using them on the 302. Eventually, JGT also got a contract for the Port of Miami for courtesy shuttles between the terminals. That was a as needed basis, several days a week, depending on the season. They were using those C3s and A3s for that. In about 2008 or so, they purchased two 102 DL3s that were in very good shape. One was painted white and one was painted green. The green one had a Cummins engine, the white one had a Detroit 60. And they operated those buses on the 302 and on the port shuttles, and they always kept an A3 or C3 around as a spare bus. But most of those buses were parked and did not see any service for a while. I think bus 6724 was which was I believe an A3, a 102 A3. That one was it was refurbished. It was painted blue, refurbished. It had a lot of front end work to it. It had a lot of engine work, and they started using that as a spare too in the shuttles, the oldest bus they had. I did a favor for them one time, and for free. I wasn't gonna charge them. I drove the bus to Keys to pick up not the Route 301. That's a route that we supervise. I can't touch that. Um, I picked up some passengers from a hotel, from one of the employee shuttles, and which that's another thing how JGT reinvented themselves, was they made up two different routes to the Keys because the service with American was so bad that hotels were paying JGT to bring their employees in the morning on time and pick them up in the afternoon and take them home. They had a contract with 4 Almorada hotels, and then they had a contract with Hawks K, which was a bus dedicated just for them. And that day, I went to Hawks K and pick up those employees and brought them back on that older bus. Bus ran sweet, cold AC. It was old bus, but it ran sweet. Eventually, that bus had to be out of service because the insurance didn't want to insure buses that old for commercial services. So that bus is still around, though. I think they were converting it to an RV. And a couple of years ago, JGT was sold to an investment company from Ecuador. And they kept the name JGT Transportation. They kept one of the DL3s, and by that time he had bought JGT had bought a couple of more used DL3 buses, 6726 I believe, and 6728, and a Van Hool 6729. They kept all of those. One of the DL3s is out of service, and they just invested in newer MCIs as well as for those shuttles. Believe it or not, Thomas safety liners, um, made for transit or converted for transit. So you're gonna see some videos, and that's a little background on JGT. We'll get one day we'll do another video on the Route 301 debacle. American Coach Lines is not around here in Miami anymore. That contract with the 301 was picked up by Evergreen, and they held it for a little bit. Who else? Somebody else had it. I'll research it by the next video. Right now, it's run by a company called Safeguard, which is DBA's America's Transportation. They run that Route 301 fairly good with Go Transit MCIs from Toronto. So we haven't had too much problem with that operation on that route. But it was a debacle at one time, and we'll get to it. So right now, when you see the videos for the JGT buses, that's the background that I wanted to give you real quick. And most of those buses on the videos are been scrapped now. The company's no longer there. The owner, Desi, he's 92 now. He moved to his farm in Washula, and he took a few buses with him, a few of the older buses with him. And JGT's still alive, different ownership, but they're still alive. They still have those employee shuttles that Desi created, except for the Hawks K1. And they now have the port contract that the courtesy shuttle that JGT had and had eventually lost during the pandemic, and now this company picked it up again. So they're doing pretty good. I hope one day get permission from their owners and the new owners and go in there and shoot some video what the place looks like and what buses they have. Okay, so that's all for now. This is Transit Joe. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, anything that you want to see, and check out my new my new Miami-Dade transit sign that was given to me, um, and it's January 12th. I am on vacation. I will not return. I'm going to go straight from vacation to retirement, and you'll see a lot of different videos after that happens. Okay, that's all for now. Been a while. There's the red button, right?